Hello, I'm Jeff Banks, and welcome to Retail Insight for the Spring Fair. I'm delighted to be joined by Maggie Thornton from a retail shop called Alligator Pear. This is the 75th anniversary of the Spring Fair, and we're talking to people about what their insight is about the fair, what their experience is, and more importantly, what their business is all about. So, Maggie, Alligator Pear. What is it? It's a strange name.
It is a strange name. Alligator pear means avocado, which has nothing to do with selling gifts. I started at A in the alphabet, in the dictionary, and went down and thought, that's quite an interesting name, because I wanted a sort of shop name that was a little bit quirky, and A was quite a good idea to be at the beginning of any list. So that's what we are.
So what was the concept of the shop that you had in mind before you even chose the name?
Well, we started, I was a graduate trainee at Debenhams and worked my way through buying and management. And then I decided when I had kids to do a party plan business. And then that developed into a little shop. And then we became a much bigger shop, which I have on my own now. And that's really just how we grew.
So retailing was in your blood from Debenhams?
Absolutely. I loved it. My husband was in retailing, his father's in retailing, so I have had a good grounding, I think, in retailing.
And the product mix in Alligator Pear is what?
Is because it's a village shop, it's not the best thing to do, but I have to be a little bit for everybody. I have to have a little bit for everyone. Normally, I think if you're on the high street, you'll specialize. You'll say, I am this type of shop or whatever, but I have to be for the little old lady who hasn't got much money, for the very nice lady who's got lots of money. I've got a very mixed bag, really. So I have to really try and manage that in the shop to make it all look nice.
And is it gift driven in the main?
It's moving towards, it's mostly gifts. It's got 8 rooms. It's
almost a department store.
And we call ourselves the Village Department Store because I'm able to separate everything. And now I've got 2 rooms for fashion and fashion accessories. So whatever seems to sell, we'll buy more of it. If it starts to go down a bit, then we'll try something else. Yeah. So at the moment, interior side of things isn't doing as well as the fashion. So we've developed our fashion ranges and we're doing really well on that. So I think...
So does the theme of each room change gradually?
Yeah, it does. And I think I've got 12 staff and they've been there for a long time with me. So they come in out of hours, they'll shift the whole shop, all the rooms around 2 or 3, 4 times a year. So it's always different. We have a lot of the same customers coming in. So we have to keep reinventing ourselves all the time.
You're almost going back to the original concept of department stores.
Yes.
Because right from the beginning of Debenhams in 1785, that's what Debenham and Freebody were actually doing back in that day.
Yes, Debenham and Freebody existed while I was in Debenhams.
Right.
Yeah, that shows my age.
So what is it about Spring Fair that's essential to the life of your business?
Well, the thing is that it's a see and touch experience, obviously. Whenever we get our little black book, we get very excited. So we're seeing that's the book that tells you who's coming. Get very excited, tick off who we want to see. And then we arrive at the NEC, and I can't tell you the sort of excitement, buzz. Even after, 35 years of doing this, you go through those doors and you think, yes, because you're excited about this is February, so you've cleared your sale, you've fairly empty shelves, all tidy, all clean, all ready for the new stock to come in.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that buzz and excitement and etc. just by going through online catalogues from suppliers. Suppliers don't even necessarily have even photographed everything by then, but they will have samples of everything. So when you get to the show, you just haul after haul of new product, new trends, new colours. It's a buzz that you can't replicate.
So are you able to be open enough that you can actually spot something at Spring Fair and think, this is going to take our business in a new direction.
Yes.
That Alligator Pear is going to change its
Yes.
spots, if I may say.
And in fact, that is what we do. We just moving away from maybe little gifts like this, little pots and things. We will move, still keep them, but diversify into whatever we feel is, we see a lot of X or Y. So we think, right, well, we'll have to have more of that in then, because that's obviously the trend. And that's the really important thing about the show. When you see all the different companies setting up their new ranges, there'll be a common thread through that, which you won't necessarily see when you do an online, when you're looking online. You can see it there and there and there. You think, right, it's going to be green palms, or it's going to be bees, or it's going to be strawberries, or whatever. Right, we need to get that in and make sure we're on it.
Can you think of one thing that's actually inspired you at Spring Fair, that's made you install a room at your store and actually make a complete change?
Well, I think, I think...
Or does that happen all the time?
No, well, I think there was a move last year towards a lot more greenery and faux foliage. That sort of thing. So in fact, we did do our whole front room then, we bought from one of our big suppliers, huge palms, and we created this real feeling of tropical,
orange.
Yes, tropical feeling. Right. And then we introduced sort of more earthy fabrics in our cushions and things, sort of more linens, and just a whole... We can do that as a little independent, you know, we can be on it and change if we want to quickly. And
now, sorry, the thing I find boggling about Spring Fair is just the enormity of it. So me, when I first started going, I used to literally walk up and down every aisle of every hall.
I do still.
You still do?
Yes, I take 2 members of staff, the manager and assistant manager, with me. And I never sit down. I say, you can sit there, but I'm going with my coffee. And up and down, because you get used to it, don't you? You get trained to your eyes going like this, and you're trained to stop at the right hall, at the right stands. What I find quite frustrating is that a lot of them don't have prices on, for whatever reason. And so you stand and wait for somebody to come. And then they say, oh, just wait a minute. And they bring you your sheet and their sheet. And they think, And you think, you've only got one stand where you have to remember the prices. I've got a shop of 8 rooms of prices that I remember. You know, that's quite funny. But And
have you ever considered now developing your own range of product under your own brand?
Yes, we have done maybe 10 years ago. We've had lots of different little mini shops because I'm in a village. I can see there's a couple of advantages of being in a village. It's free parking. You've got, providing you're in a fairly busy area, you've got, I suppose I don't mean necessarily village, maybe more of a secondary site where you've got high density population, and you've got free parking and lower rents. And mums who might want to do just a little bit of extra just for a little pocket money. And I wanted to set up a chain of these, just mainly doing cards and, I don't know, Jellycat and some jewellery and just small little individual things like that. I have a husband who didn't really want me to do that. Oh, sorry.
Jealous?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't want me to do that.
So looking forward into the future, 25 years from now, where do you see Alligator Pear being? Are you going to be the next department store on Oxford Street, or where are you going to be?
Well, I've got a young manager, and she's quite enthusiastic about moving forward with this. So that little idea may come to something. I think we're fairly well established now after 25 years in the same position. We put on increases every year, so we don't need to worry too much. Our costs obviously are getting a bit higher, but generally that means that we're still supported locally, because we have an enormous card range and good gifts, and we've got the size and free parking. So you know, you don't have to go into Epsom or Sutton to buy
Yeah.
your gifts. You can come to us. 25 years is a long time.
Yeah.
You know, if you ask me 5 years' time, we're still here. 10 years' time, probably. 25 years, I think there's a lot going on in 25 years' time. We have a small website, but we haven't. You really need to develop a website. You need someone on it the whole
Absolutely.
time, and it's a whole different. It's another shop basically.
Yeah.
Doing a website. So I'm not going to develop that. But I think.
And what change can you sense in retail going forward? Maybe not for you, but retail in general in the next 25 years.
If you mean, you don't really mean gift retailing, you just mean general retail. Well, I think high streets have got a real issue. I can't see high streets looking the way they're looking now.
Can you see the high street coming back? Because as more and more department stores fail, people like yourself that has worked for Debenhams or House of Fraser or whatever that know retail might actually consider, hey, I could open up my own store.
Only if the rents are...
rent's the problem.
I would say rent's the problem, but I think there's going to be a lot more, in the high streets, a lot more social activity.
Okay.
So that, you know, when you look at these high streets with the closed shops and things, they've got to change the planning.
Yeah.
They've got to decide, right, well, it's not going to... the use of the mix. Let's be more open about that.
Yeah.
And I think then on the back of that, when there's more and more people coming into the high street, then the little independents will grow again, providing the rents are okay. But I also see there's a circular economy as well growing. If you're saying 25 years, you're talking about people who are about 30 to 40, and what's their mindset? And their mindset. I know a lot of it's online, but I know that I think only in the last, because I looked this up actually before I came, the last year, 6 out of 10 young people now have shopped in store, not online, because they're thinking of the carbon footprint.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff going on there. So will that maybe mean that this idea of town centres being more socially acceptable, people coming in, you know, having their drink and then going to the... Are we going to get a resurgence of that? That would be brilliant if that was the case, because...
Is that a wish, or you think that will happen?
No, I think it will happen, because I think at the moment young people are becoming more introverted. They're becoming more singular. They're detached and closing themselves off. And I think that's got to change again, because that's worrying.
Yeah.
And I think with 6 out of 10 now coming back into shopping, maybe that is a move. And I think certainly, socially, young people have to start engaging with each other and with the rest of us, I think.
Great. Out of the enormous amount of brands that are available and stands at Spring Fair, are there any that particularly stand out with you, that they are a go-to brand for you?
Well, products like, brands like Jellycat, it's much easier to see the product, feel the product, and the size of the product, because something soft like soft toys is very important. Companies like Sifcon, Grand Illusions, these companies have got pottery and lifestyle, homewares, etc., that you can't really buy I can't buy looking at them online. I've got to touch and feel them.
If you could sum up Spring Fair in one word, what would it be? The one word?
Anticipation.
Anticipation.
Anticipation, which is what I feel as I walk through those doors.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you very much indeed.
Lovely to meet you.
And you, lovely to talk to you.
Okay.
Thank you.